guys, so before I say anything else, I want to address the mess in the background and the quality of this video. Oh, hi Stella Belle. My puppy's here. You want to say hi? Say hi. She's probably going to be running around, but we are getting ready to move my sister to college, so I've been doing tons of laundry, as you can see, and it's a mess. I'm packing and everything. I have a new puppy, so hence the crate, and then my camera broke, so I am using my iPhone. So I know it's not top-notch, but it's what we're working with because I really wanted to film this video and get it up to you guys. So if you didn't already know, I'm sure you do now based on the title, but I had weight loss surgery 2 years ago. It is my 2-year surgiversary from my vertical sleeve gastrectomy. I have kind of been debating on how I wanted to film this video because I want to get into kind of like my experience having weight loss surgery, but I also get so many questions every day from you guys, and I want to get in also to like my advice and specifics and tips that I have. I haven't done everything right, but I feel like I've kind of learned along the way. Also just based on like other people's journeys that I've followed with weight loss surgery. So it's basically just a lot of information. I decided it's kind of too much for one video, so I'm going to split it up into 2 parts, at least 2 parts. This one's going to be basically just kind of like telling you guys my experience, where I was at in life and whatnot, what led to my decision to have weight loss surgery, and then my like experience. So kind of like the story of my weight loss surgery and kind of what has went down in the past 2 years and what my experience has been like and where I'm at right now. I also have some footage that I have documented along the way during the past 2 years, and just not taking the time to edit and upload for whatever reason. But I actually recently came across a lot of these clips, and it's so crazy. It's like watching another person, like a completely different person. It's literally insane. But that being said, I'm going to include some of that footage probably at the beginning here. You may have already seen it, and then I'll include some throughout and some at the end. The next video that you guys see from me is going to be like a Q&A style thing. I had you guys send me questions on Snapchat and Instagram. If you want to leave any comments down below here, I am going to get into like everything, like literally everything. Liquid diet, you know, did my boobs shrink? Like, I get these questions. There's a few questions that I get just a ton of, and then there's some random ones like, I don't know, like I'll get into the loose skin, I'll get into hair loss, vitamins, liquid diet, all of that stuff. That's going to be in the next video. So that'll be more of like an informative video. This is going to be more of like a story or like an experience video. So I kind of want to start like with where I was at in life and what led to my decision to have weight loss surgery. I was 17 years old at the time, and I believe I had to change primary care physicians just because like my insurance changed or something. I can't quite remember, but I remember I was 17 years old, like I said. My highest weight that I saw on a scale was 286 pounds. However, I know that I was definitely closer to 300. I wouldn't weigh myself, and I remember being heavier, and I didn't start weighing myself until I know I started losing weight. So the highest I saw is 286, and that's kind of what I go off of. But I was super morbidly obese. That was like the category that I was in when it comes to like the BMI chart or whatever. Extremely unhealthy and only 17 years old. What led to me gaining that weight? I would say like I was always overweight as a kid, probably since I was like, in elementary school. I always was kind of like the chubby girl. I wasn't really like morbidly obese when I was a kid, but I was always a little bit overweight. I remember dieting at like the age of like 10 years old, maybe even a little earlier. My mom kind of always tried to like make sure that we focused on nutrition, and she obviously was aware that I was overweight and stuff, so she was always awesome about it. She never like hurt my feelings or like was, you know, purposely like being hateful or anything like that. But she always tried to provide like healthy foods for us and make sure we were exercising and stuff like that. That being said, though, it's hard to understand as a kid why you have to worry about what you're eating and, you know, bringing protein bars and freaking like, you know, lettuce wraps in your lunchbox while other kids are eating fruit roll-ups and, you know, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like, it's mentally, that's kind of like difficult to be experiencing at such a young age. But yeah, so that being said, I was always overweight. But it wasn't until about like the age, I think I was I guess you could say between the ages of like 11 and 15, really up till now. I'm 20 years old now, but like between 11 and 15, it was the really like the thick of some pretty crazy like medical issues that I was having. And it was really traumatic between those ages, like 11 and 15. I have more videos on my channel kind of about that, and I went on the show The Doctors to talk about it and everything, so I'll link like any more information about that below because I could get into it for a long amount of time. But I kind of started gradually like gaining more and more weight over time. I would say I was gaining like at least 10 pounds a year. But when I got to all of this like traumatic medical, all those experiences kind of led to like mental issues that I was dealing with. I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. And so getting closer kind of to actually having weight loss surgery, between the ages of 16 and a half and 17 and a half, just like in that 1 year, I actually gained 70 pounds in just a year. I was binge eating. I was way overeating. I was not intentional whatsoever about the types of food that I was eating. At the time also, you know, I was 17 years old, so I was a senior in high school. I never really had like a high school experience, I wouldn't say. I like graduated a little bit early and stuff just because I was really over it. I was unhealthy and insecure, extremely insecure. I had really bad social anxiety that I kind of attributed to my weight. I still would attribute it to my weight. But nevertheless, it was like senior year. I was getting ready, thinking about college. I actually had a pretty clear idea of like the direction I wanted to go in with my life. I wanted to teach special education at a kindergarten level. I knew what university I wanted to go to. And honestly, my health was kind of like on the back burner. And at the time, I applied to one university. It was the only one that I really wanted to go to. If I didn't get in, I was going to just stay at home and go to community college, and then transfer to this university as a transfer student. Like I said, I graduated early, and then I actually did end up getting into the university of my dreams. I was so stoked and actually a little bit surprised because with kind of everything going on during high school and stuff, I didn't have like the best grades, and this was a kind of like prestigious school. But many conversations with my parents and with their support kind of, and just kind of weighing things at where I was at, and more so than any of those things, meeting my new primary care physician, because I mentioned kind of like at the beginning of this video that at the time I had to change doctors, and so I went to this new doctor, and she was just like a regular primary care physician, right? And obviously, any doctor that is seeing a patient who is super morbidly obese is going to address that issue, hopefully. Long story short, that new doctor had actually had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy herself. Now, she kind of like explained to me what it was. She referred me to the bariatric clinic kind of in that same, it's like in the same building. And I remember in that conversation, she also told me, like literally in the same conversation that she explained what VSG was, she told me, if you have this surgery, make sure that you take full advantage of the first year, because after that first year, it gets so much harder. And that's something that I definitely kept in mind, but I wish that I would have taken it a little bit more seriously, because I've learned that is just like so incredibly true. I give that advice to anyone and everyone who asks me about weight loss surgery or that is considering weight loss surgery. I'll give that advice to you now, and I'll get a little bit more into it, but really like take that first year seriously and take advantage of it, because it does get harder. Anyways though, at the time I was only 17 and a half or so, and so the bariatric surgeon that she referred me to didn't operate on minors. The youngest he had ever done was 18 years old. And so I had to get cleared there's a long process leading up to being able to have weight loss surgery. There's a long list of things that you have to accomplish and be cleared for before you can have surgery. So they allowed me to start that process, kind of like it's literally a checklist that they give you. And so I was able to start accomplishing like kind of checking those things off that list while I was 17. So the things on that list were, I had to lose 10% of my body weight, so that was about 30 pounds. I'll talk about how I did that also in the next video. I had to be cleared by a psychiatrist. I had to go to several nutritionist appointments, multiple different nutritionists actually. I saw a clinical dietitian that specialized in bariatrics. I had to get an EKG. I believe most people have to do a sleep study. I didn't have to. And then there's the standard stuff like blood work. That's just like, you know, pre-op stuff like that. Losing the weight, I believe, is just mainly kind of to show them and yourself kind of that you can stick to something and that you are serious about wanting to have the weight loss surgery. So over the course of the next few months after being, you know, referred to this bariatric surgeon and starting kind of accomplishing those things, I did get through that list. And the day that I turned 18, so on June 10th, we submitted to my insurance for approval to have weight loss surgery. Yes, my insurance did fully cover my procedure. Not every insurance does. I'll talk more about that in the next video. Flash forward 2 months later, August 17th, 2015, I had my vertical sleeve gastrectomy. Actually, the 2 weeks leading up to that, I had to be on a liquid diet. That was intense. The liquid diet is basically to kind of like clear your liver and your colon and everything like that to prepare for surgery. You obviously lose a bunch of weight on that. I think I lost like 10 pounds. Not everyone has that long of a liquid diet, but I was like, I think it was like the last 3 days of it were like clear liquids only, but before, like in the 2 weeks, I was able to eat like sugar-free pudding and Jell-O and sugar-free popsicles and stuff like that. But I had the surgery. I'll show you guys like my scars, what it looked like. I think I had 5 scars. One of them was in my belly button. One of them's a little bit bigger because that's where they actually pulled out the stomach that they took out. Now with the sleeve, it is different from the gastric bypass where they kind of reroute your intestines. It's not like the lap band where it's literally a band above like your stomach. That can be taken out. However, the sleeve is literally, they cut out 80% of your stomach. So your stomach is just much smaller. It is 100% permanent, and I thoroughly believe that that needs to be a consideration. You need to consider when you're thinking about having this surgery, you need to take into account that it's permanent, that it's lifelong, and that your life going forward is going to have to cater to your new body because it changes your anatomy completely. A big thing that I never really finished talking about is that although I had gotten into that school and I had the opportunity to go there and kind of start like my future and my career and start working towards that, after talking through it a lot with my parents, having their support, and really their encouragement to kind of get control on my health and stuff like that, and just a lot of thought going into it, I decided to defer my admission to that school and to stay at home and have weight loss surgery and lose the weight before I could continue on in my life, because I felt like I was going to live a very short life, and the health that I was in, the mental health, the physical health that I was in at the time was not going to take me very far. Like it didn't really matter what I was going to accomplish when it came to a career or my future or school or work or anything like that, a family, because I wasn't going to be able to live through it, like to fully experience it. So I decided to stay home, and in August, when like everyone else my age and stuff, everyone I went to high school with was moving into, you know, like their colleges and stuff like that, I had weight loss surgery. So I had this surgery, and the few weeks after surgery, it's really interesting because you have the pre-op diet and then you also have a post-op diet that needs to be taken very seriously also. However, I would say post-op diet is much easier because you physically aren't really hungry. But the way that I like to explain it is kind of like, I compare it to like a baby. When a baby's born, it's obviously not eating solid foods. It starts on like breast milk, formula, whatever. And that's for quite a bit of time actually. So you have a new stomach. It's like, it's a completely new stomach. It's different. You will notice that you probably don't like a lot of the same foods that you used to. You do like foods that you didn't like before, things like that. Cravings will change sometimes. It's just a completely new stomach that you have to kind of learn. And it takes a little bit of like experimenting, but you want to start that process really slow. So I think it was another 2 weeks post-op that I was on liquids. And then you slowly, there's like stages of food and working your way back to normal solid foods. It's like the clear liquids, solid liquids, purees, soft foods, and then like normal foods. And for me, I believe I kind of like worked my way up to solid foods over the course of like 6 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, 6 weeks. I think it was 6 weeks. And that time, that's when I lost the majority of the weight. I don't think I even mentioned this, but at my lowest weight, so when I was 1 year post-op, I was down 115 pounds from my high. But that little bit of time directly after surgery is when I lost like a lot of weight. I was losing like 10 to 20 pounds a month. For a couple months, and then I would say like around the 6-month mark, I noticed it was getting a little bit harder to lose weight. I was able to eat much more. I feel like over time your restriction definitely gets looser or whatever. I don't know if the stomach actually expands. I was told by my surgeon that it does not. However, I've heard from other doctors that that it does. I personally believe that it absolutely does, just from my own experience and how much I'm able to eat now, 2 years out. But around 6 months is when I started to notice kind of that like it was getting harder. I was losing weight very fast, and with that did come hair loss, loose skin. When your body is so full, your skin is expanded so much to hold all of that fat, and then it shrinks down so quickly, your skin is bound to, a lot of it is genetics for sure. And I have been prone to having, like, my skin is not elastic whatsoever. So I definitely have seen some people like don't have loose skin as bad as I had. I have dealt with vitamin deficiencies, specifically vitamin D, iron. With weight loss surgery, you do have to supplement with vitamins for the rest of your life because your stomach does not allow you to consume enough food to be able to give you like enough nutrients that you don't need to like supplement. So you will be deficient in vitamins if you don't supplement for the rest of your life. In all honesty, I have never been the best with vitamins since I had surgery, and I've seen, I've suffered the consequences of that. I have recently been trying to be much better because I've gotten to a point, I can honestly say that like a year after I hit that 1 year mark, you guys, just like my primary care physician, who I love, told me, I hit the 1 year mark, I was down 115 pounds, and it got much harder, and I was honestly feeling horrible, feeling super low energy, very like fatigued all the time. I had been working at a salon and doing I ended up going to community college and just doing like mostly online classes, but I had to quit my salon job because my health was like, I was not feeling good at all. I couldn't really get through a full day. My mental health was also kind of starting to suffer. It is a mind game, you guys. One of my biggest pieces of advice is definitely to work on yourself mentally as you work on yourself physically, because if you don't, it will catch up with you. I was really good about kind of walking with myself mentally as my body was changing, and trying to nurture like my mental health, but it's hard to keep up with. It really is. 2 years out, I'm struggling like more than I was at a year post-op. I do want to say though, like before I say anything else, having this weight loss surgery is the single best decision that I've ever made for myself in my life. Losing the weight and taking my life back into my own hands, like, or not even back into, I had never had I had never really felt in control of my body and my life, and doing so, losing the weight and gaining that control is the most empowering thing that I've ever done, and it gave me so much confidence. So even though like I'm at a point now where I am struggling a little bit, which I'll get a little bit more into, I wouldn't change my decision like for the world. It was the best thing that I could have done. That being said, if you haven't struggled with your weight for a good amount of time, I don't recommend having weight loss surgery. I think that it's important to try other methods. I feel like I had tried literally every diet under the sun. Lindora, Weight Watchers, I did like the freaking cabbage soup diet, so many things, and I was never able to lose all of the weight or keep it off. My dog is shit. Stop. But I do think that weight loss surgery, specifically the sleeve because it is permanent, I think it should be a last resort. Okay, so this video is getting really long, but like I said, at a year out, I was 115 pounds down, but I was not feeling good at all. And that's when my weight loss like stalled. At 1 year post-op, I was 115 pounds down. I weighed 172 pounds, I think was the low. Today, I weigh around 190 pounds. So I am up roughly 20 pounds from my lowest weight. I now am able to eat significantly more than I was able to like 6 months post-op. I feel like I can almost eat like normal portions, and I would say that I, for like 6 months, probably have been off track. I did work out, I would say like kind of inconsistently. Like I would go like every day to the gym for a month and do like strength training. I like weightlifting, but also cardio. I hate cardio, who doesn't? But I was very inconsistent with that over the past 2 years. Like I said, I would go like every day for a month and then wouldn't go at all for 2 months. And so recently I have been very inactive. I've just been struggling mentally. Binge eating disorder is a huge part, kind of like a contributor to how I gained that 70 pounds in 1 year. Having weight loss surgery does not cure binge eating disorder. I struggle with it now. Binges are a little bit different. They're not as much food, but psychologically and mentally, it's like the same process, the same feelings. So I've been dealing with binging. I had kind of like a breaking point, and I acknowledged that I was binging, and I've been a little bit better since then. But I can't say that I've been intentional with my nutrition or exercise. And so 2 years post-op, I don't want to be like depressing with this because, I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't been depressed about it. I have. But I am looking at the future as an opportunity for a new and better situation, and opportunity for me to kind of take control and really finish what I started, because I have been very disappointed in myself and feeling like I I mean, it's never, you never really finish, like it's never, there's not an end game, but I feel like I gave up and I fell short basically of the goal that I set for myself. And I'm not that person. I'm not a negative person either, and I know that I'm capable of accomplishing these things, but I'm struggling, and I feel like it's so normal to struggle. I feel like it needs to be expected if you are looking into going through this journey. You're gonna slip up. You're going to fall short. You're going to have a hard time. And I don't even want to say that I now feel like I need to get back on track. I feel like I need to, like, I'm trying to look at it as something new and a new thing that I want to accomplish, because I have goals that are far more than what I've achieved in the past. So it's not something that I've already done that I'm trying to accomplish, I want to go above and beyond. I want to get to my goal weight. As far as what my body looks like, I will insert some pictures and maybe a little bit of video footage, sort of where I'm at right now and probably at my lowest weight. I do have quite a bit of loose skin. I have had one plastic surgery procedure to remove that skin. I had a breast lift, which I have a video about that'll be linked below also. But I also had skin removed from, it's called an Axiliaryplasty, but it was from my underarms. I had a ton of loose skin there. I hope to have more procedures in the future. However, for those ones, I definitely need to lose more weight. But my next one will be a brachioplasty, and I do plan on also getting implants. So that should be my next procedure. I have a lot more fat in my belly area, so I need to lose a lot more of that. Like my arms are mostly skin. There's a little bit of fat, but I honestly can't lose much more from them. So I probably am looking at least 2 more procedures. My insurance has not covered those. I'll talk more about that in the next video. But I do have loose skin. My hair has thinned, but I wouldn't change those things for the world. I feel like I am a much healthier person than I was 2 years ago. And while recently I have been a little bit discouraged, I am so incredibly ready to take my life back into my own hands and to create create my body, create my life, you know. I am really excited because what I've decided to do, kind of how I've decided to go about that, is I'm going to be working with my good friend Brian Turner on YouTube. I'm sure you guys have seen videos with him before. He's a vegan bodybuilder. He does coaching, like fitness and macro coaching, so he is going to be working with me. He's putting my plan together right now. I'll leave a link to the website if you guys want to work with him also. He's freaking amazing. I met him and his girlfriend Sammy, who is my freaking bestie. Love that bitch. I met them through social media, which has been really cool. So I am going to be counting macros, which I've done on and off throughout kind of my weight loss journey. I started kind of at the beginning, I was on like a high protein, low carb. Since then, though, I have cut meat out of my diet for no other reason, honestly, than it just grosses me out. I don't like it. I don't eat very much dairy. I can see myself transitioning to veganism in the future. However, I believe that it is harder to lose weight as a vegan. So I'm kind of holding off on that. Right now, my main goal is to get down to my happy weight, whatever that may be. Just kind of wherever my body feels healthy, and I want to build strength, and overall health is a lot more important to me than any number on a scale. I'm kind of excited for this new chapter, so I hope I didn't leave anything out. I'm sure I did. Leave it in the comments if there's anything that I didn't touch on that you guys are interested in for the next video. It's kind of part of the reason why I wanted to split it up a little bit. The reason that the title is simply I had weight loss surgery 2 years ago is actually because a lot of my subscribers and followers on Instagram, I've noticed, don't know that I had weight loss surgery. And it seems odd to me because when I first started my social media accounts, which obviously have blossomed into this huge thing that I never knew that I didn't ever plan to have a lot of followers or anything like that. I just started posting about just weight loss surgery. That's all I posted about. And I had my account mainly to mainly to follow other people. And now that's kind of grown into, I pretty much just post about my life. Obviously a lot of it is weight loss related and stuff. But I really just kind of post about my life. So I do see why, it does make sense that not everyone knows that I've had weight loss surgery. But if you didn't know, I did have weight loss surgery. I know it's a controversial topic. But I believe that weight loss surgery is a tool that is there to be used by those who are willing to use it, and those who need a solution to something that kills people every single day, something that the majority of Americans deal with on a day-to-day basis, and that's obesity. So 2 years out, I'm struggling. I am. But I'm optimistic, and I have every intention of becoming who I want to be and finishing what I started and honoring the girl who started this journey over 2 years ago, you know? I feel like I owe it to her, to me, to finish this and to take full advantage of what life is giving me and the new leaf that I've been able to turn because of the weight loss surgery that I had and the work that I've put in. Again, it's a tool and it only works if you do. I absolutely cannot wait for a year from now when I'm 3 years out to look back at this video, see that while I am struggling right now, that I have accomplished so much more, and just to see where my life is a year from now. I know that I have so many amazing things in store. Some would say I'm having a bit of an identity crisis right now, but you know, it's part of life. I'm 20 years old. I've got a long future ahead of me, and I am happy about that. So if you've made it to this point, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it was somewhat informative for you. Again, leave any questions that you have and want me to address in the next video down below in the comments. So give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, all that good business. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video. I'm not having surgery because I want to look skinny. My #1 motivating factor is to be healthy and able to have kids when I want to start a family. You know, I'm 18. I just turned 18, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, I want to feel beautiful. I don't know, I have faith in that, my decision to have weight loss surgery is 100% the right thing for me. But I'm freaking terrified. Yeah, I'm really scared. This is harder than I thought it would be. Tomorrow's another day, so hopefully this was the worst of it. I have a feeling it's probably not. It's gonna be, the first couple days is gonna be rough, but it's okay. It's all for the greater good, and we're another day closer. Feeling a lot better today. More positive, like I'm gonna stick to it. So, here we go. Okay. It's surgery day. Oh, I can't believe this is happening. Nerves are getting to me, boo, but this is happening today. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do this. So yeah, I will see you guys on the other side, I guess. On the losers bench. Alright, bye guys.